Hi everyone, Cody Olifield here from Mermaids and Martians of Mermaids and Martians Acclaim, and it's time for a review of the new Dirty Nil album, Fuck Art. This is the third studio album from Canadian rock band The Dirty Nil, the second since winning the Juno Award for Breakthrough Group of the Year back in 2017, which is odd because they've been together since 2006, and being around for that long, they're obviously good at what they do, and this seems to be the album that is catching everyone's attention, which is fair because there are a lot of things of note on this album. For one, I think Luke Bentham's vocals are great on this thing. Even when I think the production is lacking on a few tracks, Luke comes through with some very expressive, very eccentric vocal performances. Secondly, I think this thing has a lot of catchy tunes. And finally, there are some great blends of pop, punk, and hard rock on this thing. The first track, Doomboy, is a perfect example of all three of these things. The track kicks off with a flurry of distorted guitar lines. Eventually, Luke comes in to present this character, a Doomboy, if you will. It's a character we'll see throughout the album. He's a self-destructive counterculture type, and from the perspective of this character, we get a bunch of catchy love songs. In this song, we see lyrics of raging to thrash, hailing Satan, and breaking the rules. It's very childish and cheesy, but I find this album as a whole to kind of be nostalgic for the simpler times, the teenage years, most likely the early 2000s when acts like Green Day were in their heyday. And speaking of Green Day, Luke's vocals have an obvious Billy Joe Armstrong influence. Towards the last leg of this track, we have this hard rock, almost screamo breakdown, which, sees Luke deliver some screamies, a little bit of some growlies. And again, I think it's super impressive how they seamlessly blend these harsh sounds throughout the track with other elements that are very accessible. The next track, Blunt Force Concussion, is another highlight in my opinion. Now, the lyrics are what they are. A lot of talking about, put me through all this pain, maim me, just don't make me say I love you. But it is a very tuneful song. I love the bass line on this thing. The guitar work is also pretty decent. Luke is again doing great things with the vocals. And I love, love, love the post-chorus on this thing. Trust me! Despite the lyrics being a little corny for their own good, I still find it to be very fitting of the Doomboy character, which is the same that can be said for the track Done with Drugs. While very tuneful, like, what the hell are these lyrics? Like in the bridge, it says, maybe I'll try origami or jujitsu and walk around IKEA with you. I know I kind of shrugged off the corny lines in Doomboy, but god damn. Not all the lyrics on this track are cringy though. I like how it discusses being done with drugs just to better himself and not to have someone shower him with praise for doing so. The riff on this thing is great too, and the bass line as well. And at the very least, the lyrics, again, no matter how corny they fit the character. The song Ride or Die features this brash, rude instrumental with rolling percussion. I think it's the most balls to the wall that the band gets on this album. I love the grooves on this track. I love the anthemic nature of the track. Now, I do like all of those tracks, but despite my praise, if it hasn't been clear, this project isn't without its flaws. For instance, I think there are a few tracks that are a little underwritten in my opinion. Take the track Elvis 77. It's not as tuneful. That hook is a little annoying in my opinion. Why do you call your mama mine? Why do you call your... I think it's cute that it's written from the perspective of Elvis when he died, reflecting on his past, his ups, his downs. I think it fits the self-destructive themes, but I don't really find it interesting past that. The mixing on the track Damage Control is so bad. Like the hi-hats sound so tinny and annoying on the chorus. Everything just sounds so washed out. The lyrics, they fit in this weird realm where they're super corny but also way too simplistic and boring. At least Luke, again, has a very expressive vocal delivery on this thing. And I do think the tune is there on this track. You just kind of have to find it. The song Hang Your Moon is very simplistic, bass forward. I like the drums on this thing. They're nice and punchy. I do like the track, but no matter how much I like the production, no matter how much I like the vocals or that very serene, beautiful last leg of the track, the lyrics need work. The second verse is almost entirely made up of the word do. And on the track To the Guy Who Stole My Bike, I feel like Luke knows he's being annoying. His voice is not as desirable as it has been on earlier tracks. Features some yodeling though, so I guess that's nice. I will say I like the guitar leads on this track, but there are just some dumb ass and ass, backwards ass lyrics on this track. Like in the chorus when he says, "I was angry then, and I'm still now." God, this track is pretty weak. But even still, they managed to finish off pretty strong with One More in the Bill. It starts off with some live performance qualities where it's just simply some vocals, some bass, and some feedback. Then they begin to add guitars and the song kicks in. And I think on this track, the lyrics are pretty great for the most part. We see some great bass work and a full-on guitar solo. The breakdown at the end is cheesy as hell, yes, but I think it fits here. And the ending has some like really anthemic qualities. And again, basically ends as if they just finished a live set. Now, I do think that there are qualities about this album that are really likable. Again, Luke's singing is in rare form on this thing. Ross Miller's bass work is on point. And while there are interesting genre fusions on this thing, this album leaves a lot to be desired. The end result is simply an album that is less than the sum of its parts. I am personally feeling a light to decent 6 on this thing. What did you think of the new Dirty Nil album? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you even listen to it? If you haven't listened to it, I'll put a link in the description below so that you can. Thank you all for watching this review. I hope you all have a good one.